Hello, hello. Sorry, guys. It's on my back. Always. Nose, back, something. Hello, hello. There goes my nose. Right on schedule. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Oh, dry hands, always. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello? Oh, my hands are so dry. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello? Nobody's gonna talk to me? Nobody? Hello? There's my cat, right on schedule. Oh, shoot. Oh, thank you for the likes. I didn't catch who did that. Sorry. Hi. What was your name? Where are you from? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Is it Myra? Did I say that right? I don't want to slaughter your name. There's my cat and his lovely cat call as soon as I get on a live or when I go to bed. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm going to wait for just a few more people to get on and then I'm going to get started. Oh, my hands get so dry through the day. Oh, they're so dry, they're just cracking. Washing my hands all day long. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello. Hello, hello. Thank you for the likes. Ah, Holly. Thank you for the badge. Where are you from, Holly? Okay. That's always what happens, and then it starts flying. Hold on one second. Let me back up. Thank you for the badge. I'm not sure your name. You said new? Are you new here? Welcome. Thank you for the badge. I don't want to slaughter your name. Aw, thank you for the follow. Is it Christian? Did I say that right? And thank you for the badge. Thank you for the likes. Yes, ma'am. Okay. I don't want to slaughter your name. I'm horrible with names. Okay, well, if you guys are just hopping on and you're new here, tell me your name, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. There's my cat. That's called Itty. And he's noisy as I'll get out as soon as I get on my live. Ashley from Iowa. What part of Iowa? Born and raised there myself. Don't usually like to admit that, but Kara. Should I tell Ryan I love him? I'm not sure. I'm a medium, but I never do any of that online here. What does your gut tell you? That's what I tell you here. What does your gut say? What does your intuition say? Thank you for the badge, Ashley. Erica, New York City? Welcome. Sioux City. Oh, I know where that's at. I'm more over between Ames and Mason City, but I've been through Sioux City many a times. I live in my childhood home and my brother is selling it, found out today. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my brother tore down our house, so I relate. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm just a few minutes late tonight, guys. So I'm going to wait just a few minutes, just probably another minute. We'll see where our numbers go, and then I'm going to get going. If you're new here, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that so much. Kentucky. Hey, Frank, how are you? Okay, guys. Well, I'm a flake. You don't have to be here if that's the case. Nobody forced you to be here. Houston, Texas. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Well, guess what? I have the ability to get rid of you. I just love it. Like, I don't force anybody to be here. Like, what is wrong with people? Houston, Texas, welcome. Daisy from California, welcome. Lynn from San Antonio, Texas, welcome. Ashley, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Kathy from Oklahoma, welcome. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. I never force anybody to be here. It's like somebody, they act like somebody forces their fingers to click on the live. You don't want to be here? Don't be here. Oh, Lord. Don't get me started. Sorry. Thank you for all the badges, guys. All right, guys. Well, our numbers are climbing, and I'm already running late, so I'm going to get started. If you're new here, like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. I'm twisting your arm. That's funny. So I started my TikTok a year ago in March. The reason I started my TikTok is because on September 14th of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself. And that's when I discovered that I have abilities to talk to my guides. And they slowly breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that so much. They breadcrumbed me to my purpose, which is brought me to here to all of you lovely people tonight. My purpose is to help others through their loss and traumas. And thank you for the follow, Lynn. I appreciate that so much. And keep hitting those like button, guys. That really does help me out also. And so this is a new book is what I call it. My husband and I were together for 32 years before he decided to check out. And my entire world of 32 years crumbled by his one choice. My whole life went poof, gone. The only thing that resembled my life after he left was my apartment and my kids and my grandkids and my pets. And like I said, I discovered I have these abilities to talk to my guides. And just a couple months, probably about 5 months later, I discovered that I'm a medium. But like I said, I discovered that my purpose is that I needed to go through everything I went through in my life so I could help other people. Hopefully, never go through what I went through. And so here I am. Yes, I do, because I do talk to him. My guides. Well, everybody has spirit guides. Everybody has angels. Your neighbor's interested in you. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? So we all have spirit guides. We all have angels that are assigned to us for our whole life. Sometimes our guides actually do change through our life, depending on the chapters that we go through. And so I only have 2 rules if you're here. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. The first rule is I just ask that you always be kind. I don't know. I am psychic, but I don't really tap into those abilities, especially on live. Sorry about that. I would say, what does your gut tell you? Your gut never lies. And I can always tell you why, but that's for another time. And the other rule is we don't talk any politics here. That's just not what my page is about. It's not against one side or the other. We just don't talk about that here. We talk about loss and healing, and if you need a community to go to, if you're lonely, my community is your community. I always say I am on my journey of life where I am, and you are on your journey of life where you are. And none of us are going to agree on everything, so we agree to disagree. And if you can't do that, just hop off and keep scrolling. Thank you. I appreciate that. And so when I go live, my guides give me, actually I have one main predominant, can't talk ever, guide that talks for all of my guides at the moment. And so she gives me the topic for the night. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And so tonight's topic is, who are you? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. Who are you? And are you being your true self? So that's what we're going to talk about. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. What prompted me to believe, tap into? Okay, so if you missed it, my husband, Michigan, welcome. Thank you for liking the live. If you missed it, my husband unalived himself a little over a year and a half ago. And I was completely devastated. My entire world, like I said, went up in smoke by his one choice. 32 years just gone, right? I'm 48 years old and I was starting over. And honestly, I wasn't sure. If you're sensitive, we talk about sensitive material here, so please don't report me. I wasn't sure I was going to stay on this planet. I have to be careful what I say because otherwise it will take me down. My daughter, I was actually ready to not. And my daughter said to me one day, she said, "Mom, you realize that your life is worth living, right?" And I really didn't, because I didn't know any other life without my husband. I was with him since I was 16 years old. And so from that moment on, I decided, okay, I'm going to stay on this planet. And anybody that knows me, I'm the unique girl. I'm the circle that don't fit in the square. And so I knew, and my husband didn't leave me in a great spot financially, so I knew that therapy was out and group therapy was not going to work for me because I'm just not that girl. And so I had to figure out a way to heal myself if I was going to stay on this planet. And so I deep dived into meditation. I really sucked at meditation before my husband passed. I was just dabbling in it at the time. So I deep dived into meditation. And the first message I ever got in meditation, and I had some, I guess you could say, run-ins with my guides a couple weeks before. And I've had visions for a long, long time, just wasn't sure what was happening. So like I said, the first message I ever got in meditation is, what heals you will heal others. And so that slowly was my very first puzzle piece to put the puzzle together of what my purpose in life was. So it just kind of all came together. Let me just tell you, I used to follow all that kind of stuff, right? And I don't like to get political on here, so I'm going to try to just keep it. I never think I can never talk. Sorry. I don't think it ever hurts to have extra food and water on hand, ever. My husband got sick at the end of 21 with pneumonia and went into the hospital for 88 days, and I had no income. And because I had extra food and water, it was a lifesaver. After my husband passed, like I said, he didn't leave me in a great spot financially. I had extra food and water. I had stocked back up on extra food and water before he left. And so it just never hurts. I'm just going to put it that way. I personally don't believe in all the fear. Knowing what I know, and trust me, I've been down every rabbit hole, lots of them anyway. For about 4 years, I was a hermit and went down rabbit holes. I froze. I'm sorry. I never think it hurts to have extra food and water. I'm just going to put that out there. But I don't believe in the fear. I do believe that there are good things coming. I know that there are good things coming. Now, does that mean we might not go through a couple weeks of a rough patch and it wouldn't hurt for you to have food and water? I would say that would be a good idea. I'm just going to leave it at that. And so, yeah, so here I am on my journey. Like I said, sorry, I have an unstable connection, so hopefully I don't bleep out on you again. You know, you pay $100 a month for great internet that it goes in and out. You gotta love it, right? So anyway, so tonight's topic, thank you for the follow. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. And so tonight we're going to talk about who are you? Do you know your true self? I get these topics from my guide, my spirit guide. Do you have on a mask? Are you wearing a mask, and are you your true self? I just want to let y'all know that we are not shy here. You're never interrupting me. My community is your community, and my page revolves on having communication back and forth. That being said, sometimes I do hide comments, and I can't help that. I have all my filters off, and for some reason, they never filter the trolls, just good comments. Douglas, how are you? Oh, I am so sorry, Douglas. Well, manifest it. Put it out into the universe. See yourself going to the dentist and, you know what I mean? Just manifest it. Say some good affirmations. Thank the divine God, source, universe, whatever it is you believe, for finding you a dentist. And just put it out there and let the divine help you figure it out. I believe in that wholeheartedly, that you can manifest what you want. So we are co-creators with the divine. I believe that wholeheartedly. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and read. Thank you for the badge, Victoria. Where are you from? My name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota, if you're just hopping on. So, like I said, are you your true self? I can honestly say before my husband passed, I was not my true self. I was always trying to be somebody I wasn't. I didn't even know who I truly was until my husband passed. Working on finding my true self. Okay, that's good. Working on it is good. Yes, okay. Yes, I do believe that. Yes, I do. I do believe that he's going to give me another husband. Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that so much. Okay, so this is the next thing that my guide gave me. Like I said, you're never interrupting me. Hop on anytime. So if you're not your true self, what is stopping you from being the real you? The real you or your true self? What is stopping you if you're not? Anybody that's not on here? For me, back in the day, it was thinking I had to be somebody that I wasn't. Even though I've known my whole life that I didn't fit in because I was the circle that didn't fit in the square. For some reason, I wanted to fit in. And I know this is going to sound crazy. I wanted to fit in, but I didn't want to fit in. Does anybody relate with that? Anybody or just me? Fear. Okay, that's a good one. Do you have a name and where you're from? Fear is a great one. I need to try to hold myself back. Keep my mouth shut. Why, Douglas? Are you like me, very outspoken? I don't sugarcoat anything. And there's a difference between, I always said this, I love my grandma dearly. She was a huge, huge influence in my life. I always said there's a difference between my outspoken and my grandmother's outspoken, right? Thanks for the badge, Douglas. I've never been outspoken to the point where I'm rude. I don't think, I would never purposely try to hurt somebody, where my grandma was just rude. I love you, Grandma. She was just rude sometimes, right? Like she didn't have no problem walking in your house and go, oh, why did you put that on the wall? That's ugly, right? There's a difference, right? Between being tactful and not just downright mean, but being outspoken and being yourself. Same, always in trouble for speaking my truth. Yes. What if your new husband is not so spiritual? Then he wouldn't be my new husband. So far, I have seen a couple people since my husband passed, and I'm very upfront about my abilities and where my life is going, or where I think it's going. And they kind of have to be on the train a little bit, right? I don't believe in being with somebody that you have nothing in common with, or don't have kind of the same beliefs, right? They don't have to believe exactly like me. I don't think any of us believe exactly like each other, but they have to be kind of on the same train. Does that make sense? Me too sometimes. Okay. From California, the good part, been following you for a while, and I resonate with your beliefs and blessing. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate the badge. Explain spiritual. Okay. I was in the church. I got with my husband when I was 16. We basically started going back to church, or he did. I didn't really grow up in the church. I was just taught it was what you believed, right? And so for me, my husband was very staunch of a certain religion, which I won't name. And so he just said, we'll raise our kids that. And I was young and I didn't know any better. And I was like, okay, that sounds good to me, right? He's got a better background at that than I do. And so I also joined the church, and I was in the church for 30 years, very involved. I was a Sunday school teacher. I was director of Vacation Bible School. I was the head of evangelism. You name it, I did it, right? And the one thing that I can honestly say is, and I just want to mention this real quick, I always believe the conversation goes where the conversation's supposed to go, and there's no such thing as coincidence. So anyway, so yeah, I was heavily involved in the church, and the one thing I really wanted more than anything in this world was to have that personal relationship with, I don't call it a God if you're new here. I do believe in a creator. I call it the creator, the divine. I've been down a gazillion rabbit holes for 4.5 years. I went down every rabbit hole you could, and there was actually many, many gods. And so I just don't believe in calling it God. Which one are you referring to? So I call it the creator or source or the divine. But I wanted that personal relationship with the creator. And I thought if I did all of these things right in the church, and I was a good girl, and I played by the religion rules, that I would have that relationship. And I was the most miserable I have ever been in my entire life. And I was beat up more in a church than I ever was outside of the church, being the unique girl, ever, ever, ever. And that wasn't just one church either. You go to church, that's fine. I would never try to change your mind. I very much, like I said, I'm on my journey where I am, and you are where you are, and I would never, ever push my belief onto somebody else. I'm just, like I said, I have guides, and I talk to the other side. I'm very spiritual. I have a personal relationship with the creator now. I don't need that middleman. That middleman was created for a reason, and I'm just going to leave that there because I don't want to offend anybody tonight. Yeah, so I guess that's my idea of spiritual. I don't know if I answered your question. When you dream about your husband, do you think he actually visits you? Oh, yes, they do. They do. That's actually the easiest way for those that have crossed over to come to you, especially when they first cross over, because they technically are still learning the ropes of the other side, you could say. The other side of the veil, which is very, very thin, by the way. It's like a sheer curtain in your kitchen or in your house. They're right there. Just throwing that in there. But yes, that's how they visit you when they first cross over, especially because, like I said, they're still kind of learning the ropes there. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up with the chat, guys. So yes, they are visiting you. And actually, I had a dream of my husband last weekend. Thank you for the badge. Same. Thank you for the badge. Do you believe one can be contacted and whole without spiritualism? I'm not sure if I actually understand your complete question, but do I believe one can be contacted Oh, hold on. Let me reread it. I apologize, guys. My day starts at 4:35. Sometimes I'm not all there by this time. This is the only time this fits in my schedule. I work 2 jobs, and so it just is what it is. Do you believe one can be content and whole without spiritualism? Okay. Me personally, I would say no. I guess that depends. No, I don't want to go there. I don't want to say it like that. It depends on what your belief is. Do you have any belief whatsoever, right? Do you believe in a creator? You don't have to be spiritual to believe in the creator. I dream about my wife that died. Okay, so she is probably coming to visit you. Generally, if content. Yeah, sorry about that. It took me a second. I apologize. I'm half asleep by this time of night. Generally, if they come to you in your sleep, especially, a lot of times they come in your sleep or come to you that way to reassure you if there wasn't a lot of closure there. I know I was 12 when my dad's mom passed away, and we were in a big fight because I was 12 and stubborn and pig-headed and shy, and she didn't understand me at all, right? And so we got into a fight. Long story short, she passed. We never made up. And so she came to me in a dream, and I knew that was my closure. Same thing with an uncle that I didn't get to see that passed. Same thing with a friend who was murdered. So I believe a lot of times, and sometimes they just want to visit you. And that's the easiest way to visit you, and the easiest way for you to know that they're there, because a lot of times people don't pick up on that they're there with you. Does that make sense? So I guess, but it just depends on what you believe. In the next world, will you be with your husband? I think it just honestly depends on, I've heard from other mediums that it depends on if there's unfinished business there. I'm not sure what I believe. You know what I mean? Because I've heard a couple different takes on that. And so I think it depends on, how I live out the rest of my life and with who. And I mean, I don't know, I'm not for sure. I'm going to leave it at, I'm not for sure, because I know that there was unfinished business there, but at the same time, I feel like since he's passed, we've kind of, that business has finished. Does that make sense? So I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air on that. What are your exceptional skills? As in, what? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota. What kind of skills are you asking? I guess I'm not sure what you're asking me. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. You guys keep asking questions. I love it. This is great. I'm glad that they're letting your comments come through tonight. If you are not being the real you, what does that look like, right? What does it look like to not be the true you? Maybe you're not loving you, you're people pleasing, you don't know how to say no, you're not speaking your truth. Anybody relate to any of that? That was completely all me. Do you believe the eyes are the windows to the soul? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All of them? Okay. And with all of those, dimming your light, people pleasing, not being able to say no, that all starts with, and it all leads back to, do you love yourself? Because once you learn to love yourself, you no longer need validation from anybody, and all of those things go away. because you no longer care about having validation from anybody. So you say what you want, you do what you want, and you just stop, right? For me, my give a crap button broke a long time ago. And yeah, and since my husband passed, I learned to love myself, and I don't dim my light for anybody, you know? I am who I am, like me or love me, you know, or kick rocks, you know, that's just where I'm at in my life, right? Thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. I think I missed a question, but yes, definitely your eyes are the window to the soul. I believe that wholeheartedly. I can look at somebody in person. My intuition is so spot on. I can look at somebody in the eyes and I know instantly if they're deceitful. My husband, he wasn't as much into some things as I was. And I don't know how to say this, but he always believed my intuition, right? Always. If I said, just not a good person, right? But that's because I feel and sense things that other people can't. Sometimes on a deeper level. Does that make sense? I thought, no man is an island. I'm not sure what you're saying there. No man is an island. Can you elaborate on that? Sorry. It's hard to know. Me too. Runaway. Yeah. Right? If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee and I am from South Dakota. Welcome. We all need others. I keep my circle very small, and I have reasons for that. But I agree. It doesn't hurt to need other people. I'm not sure if that's where you're going with that. You can elaborate on that too. Protectionism. You want to elaborate on that? Are you saying, is it for me? Yeah, if you're asking, that's protection for me. I protect my energy at all costs and my peace. For me, I'm 50 years old and nothing is worth my peace, and nobody is worth my peace, right? If you're disturbing my peace, you're out of my life. And a lot of that too. And sadly, I'm a Scorpio, so I don't know if y'all know what what that means, but I don't have all of the traits as a Scorpio anymore because I'm changing. I don't like. We have a very strong cutoff game, and I don't like that about myself, and so I am changing that a little bit. But I do keep my circle small. I believe in quality over quantity. If you understand what I'm saying. Keep your group small. Yeah, I do, because, you know, I don't believe in drama. I you know, been there, done that, right? I went through all that drama as a teenager. I didn't fit in. Been there, done that kind of thing. And like I said, I protect my peace and my energy at all costs, right? But if we're true to ourselves, no worries about others' opinions. Oh, no. I really don't care what people think or their opinions, for sure. It's too exhausting. Exactly. No, I believe other people's opinions of me are none of my business. I could, you know, what is that saying? Everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has what I'm sitting on. I really don't care what people think about me, say about me, speak about any of that. I really don't care. They can keep their opinion. Because guess what? It's their opinion. Not a big deal. Do you believe it's better to try and fail than just be afraid to be disappointed? Absolutely. Yes, I do. So why what? Question. Why do I keep my circle small? Is that what you're asking? Elaborate on that. Yes, I do believe it's better to try. I say all the time, if you go back and look in my videos, if you got to try, right? You got to always try. It's better to try than fail, because that's how you learn, right? If we don't ever try, we never fail. How are we growing? How do we grow as people? Why do I protect myself? Because most people don't understand that we're made of energy, right? And I'm, like I said, I protect my energy at all costs. Being around lots of people or certain people drain my energy. I know this is going to sound crazy, but there are such things as energy vampires. I know that sounds nuts, but it's wholeheartedly true. And they literally do nothing. And then there are people that I would call an energy vampire that aren't truly an energy vampire. But you know those kind of people, right? That just suck the life out of you, right? You know, there again, when they suck the life out of you, do you have your peace? That just takes my peace. It's not worth it. Does that make sense? So yeah, I protect my energy at all costs. For sure. I hope that answered your question. I think you are afraid to be hurt again. That I'm going to be hurt again? I think we're all afraid to be hurt again. I mean, yes, I agree. I'm not going to disagree with that. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to step out there. And I mean, you have to take that chance, right? Who isn't afraid to be hurt again if you've been, you know what I'm saying? If you've ever been in a relationship, if that's what you're talking about, you know, my heart was broken into a million pieces. Howdy, girl. Hi, Marie. How are you? Of course, you know, I'm going to protect my heart, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to step out, right? And try, you know, life is short. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Yes, I agree. We do need to be vulnerable. I'm not afraid. Embarrassment and be fun if you let it. Embarrassment can be fun. I embarrass myself all the time. If you're new here, I embarrass myself all the time. You know what? It is what it is, right? Like I said, love me or hate me. It is what it is. So, Illinois, Marie, yes. But yes, we do have to be vulnerable, but that doesn't mean that we have to be doormats for people either. If that's where you're going. I'm not quite sure. Oops, sorry. I hit something. I'm always hitting something technologically challenged. Do you have a name and where you're from? Is it Silas? Did you tell me that already? Thank you for liking the live, Marie. I appreciate that. If you guys can keep tapping that screen, that really does help me out a lot. I appreciate it. I'm going to read a little further. I don't have much left from my guide. She didn't give me a whole lot tonight. But yeah, once you learn it, like I said, it all goes back to learning to love yourself. And once you learn to love yourself, then all of those things kind of go away. Because like I said, you no longer need anybody's validation. People's opinions of you are none of your business. You really don't care. You protect your energy, and you move on, right? You're used to American men? Is that a question? Victoria, thank you for the badge. I appreciate that. Or Victory. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. I'm so sorry. I told you I'm half asleep by this time of night. Victory, thank you. Is that a question? Am I used to American men? Yes. I haven't had a lot of men, to be honest. Like I said, I was with my husband for 32 years, so. You can tell? Okay. What does that mean? Do you want to elaborate on that? Just curious. Are you insulting me? I mean, if you are, you are. It is what it is, right? I would love it if you elaborated on that. No, you're not insulting me? Okay. Do you want to elaborate on the I can tell part? I mean, when you're with, I mean, seriously, my husband's only been gone a year and a half, a little over a year and a half, and I was with him basically my whole life. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's okay. Everybody thinks it's Victoria. Happened my whole life. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I feel horrible. Victory. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate that so much. Okay, well, I'm waiting for you guys. I have to do my shameless plugs here. If you're not familiar, that I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Scorpio Medium. If you're not a subscriber, I would love it if you go over there and subscribe. The only difference is you'll find all my videos that I have here over there. The only difference is that I upload my lives. So if you miss a live and you'd like to catch that, I do upload them the next day over there. I usually go live, if you're not familiar, Sunday through Wednesday between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time. I try to keep it close to 7, but it's usually between 7:30. Sometimes I'm a little early, not very often. But Sunday through Wednesday, I'm shooting to go live on my YouTube. On Thursdays, I haven't made that happen yet. I have a lot of subscribers over there that are not on TikTok, and so I'm hoping to do that. Did you want to elaborate on that? You can tell. I'm just kind of curious. Can you ever see yourself with a positive, non-spiritual person? I guess what do you mean by non-spiritual, right? Like, I mean, if somebody believes in the creator and isn't as spiritual as me, as long as you're not hindering my purpose, I mean, I wouldn't rule that out, right? I just, I know what my purpose is now, and I have, certain things that I need to do in order to fulfill that purpose. And so, you need to be on board with that. I mean, as long as you're not like I don't even want to say Satanist, because that isn't even, that connotation doesn't even fit what most people think it is. So I don't know. Non-creator. So you don't believe, so what you're saying is, would you be with somebody that doesn't believe in the creator? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, you would have to have a really good, explanation, I guess. Only positive energy. I mean, I believe the creator is positive energy. Do I believe that it's a man in the sky? No, I don't believe that any longer. There's lots of proof and lots of rabbit holes to prove that. Now, that being said, do I believe that the creator, positive energy, doesn't affect our life? No, I don't believe that at all. I totally believe that it still has effect on our life. I just don't believe it's a man in the sky, like man-made religion has taught us to believe. Like I said, if you believe that, I'm not here to change your mind. I am on my journey where I am, and you are where you are. Creator or not has no bearing on positive energy to humanity. I guess I would agree with that. Do you think God has a special calling on your life? Yes, I do. I 100%. And I believe that everything in this life happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. I know that my husband was only meant to be in my life for a certain time. He was put in my life to help put me on the path to my purpose. I was becoming extremely codependent on my husband and was not on the path to my purpose. And I believe that no matter how he went or when he went, it was his soul contract was up, and that I needed a course correction to be put on my path. Hopefully that answered all that. But yes, I do. I have visions. So I kind of know what's coming. They give me breadcrumbs here and there. Of course, I don't have the whole puzzle. I don't think we should have the whole puzzle, because that's just life. But yeah, I have visions. They're pretty accurate. I actually had the vision of my reaction the day that my husband passed 2.5 years prior. Didn't know what I was seeing, so just kind of shoved it in the back of my head. But yeah, I do believe that I have a higher calling from the Creator and why I'm here. Heavy stuff. I'm on a unique journey. Well, Yes. Yes and no. For me, yes. I think everybody has their own journey, right? Maybe your journey isn't mine. Like I said, I believe I have a higher purpose. Maybe your purpose is to be here for one person. Like my husband, I truly believe my husband was put into my life, knowing what I know now, to give me the confidence and that I needed to become the person that I needed to be, to put me on that path. And by no fault of his, I was becoming, excuse me guys, codependent. And but yeah, that was his purpose here, right? And God knows how many other people he touched. So everybody's purpose is different, but I believe everybody here has a purpose or a life calling. Some may be greater than the others, but I don't believe that makes anybody better than anybody else, right? If you're here to speak to 1 million people or to influence 1 million people, and the next person's here to influence one person, I don't believe that person's life or purpose is any less than the next person. Does that make any sense? He was preparing me. Yep. Understand the loss of a full commitment. I'm not quite sure if I understand where you're going with that. Can you elaborate? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm going to add one more thing while I'm waiting for your comments. So if you're interested in booking a channeling session with the other side, if you go to my bio here or my bio over at Scorpio Medium, you will find 2 emails. And if you email me, and that's how you would set that up. Understand the loss of a full commitment. Can you elaborate on that? I'm curious where you're going with that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. What does a booking consist of? So basically you email me, and basically what I ask for is the only thing I want to know about who you're trying to channel is a name and a photo. I don't do that on live. The way my abilities work is I have to really focus. If I'm not right next to you, like if you're not sitting across from me or next to me, I have a harder time pulling them in. So a picture and a name is all I want to know. I don't want to know anything else, because usually I get that information in a channeling session, and then that's your confirmation that I'm speaking to who you're wanting me to speak to. And then as soon as I get that message, I either do like a Zoom with you or something to that effect, where then I give you the information that I received. And like I said, generally I get something from them. I usually ask them for something more personal that only you and them would know, that I wouldn't know. That's why I only want a name and a picture. The picture just helps me pull them in, make sure that I'm talking to who I'm supposed to be talking to. Yeah, and that's pretty much all that it consists of. I usually charge $40. I feel that that's fair. My guides think that I have to charge, so I want to be fair, but I also just want to be able to help people talk to their loved ones. So that's pretty much what that consists of. No problem, Victory. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you following me and the badge. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Anybody else have a comment? I'm curious where you were going with that. Understand the loss of full commitment. Are you still there? Can you elaborate on that? You got my interest up. Thank you for the badge, Victory. I appreciate that so much, and all the likes. Yes. Can you elaborate on that? I'm curious where you were going with that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hopefully they're letting your comments come through. Like I said, it's so annoying. I have all my filters off and they still filter my comments. Do you believe the spirit world is as real as where we are now? Absolutely. I believe it's just another world. Basically, we go from this world to another world. That's what I truly believe. Like I said, and the veil between us and them is extremely thin. Certain times of year, it's even thinner. But yes, the only difference is my friend hates it when I say this. The only difference is when we go from this world to the next world, we lose the meat suit. He hates it when I call it a meat suit. A lot of times I just say it in front of him just to give him the heebie-jeebies. She was my sole purpose. I believe some of my responses are filtered. I am so sorry. If you would like, you can message me after and I would gladly have a conversation with you about whatever apparently I've missed. Like I said, I have no say in it. I have all my filters off, and for some reason they always let the trolls come through, but never the comments that need to come through. So, but yes, the spirit world is just as much, you're just continuing on. It's just, like I said, another world. You just lose the meat suit. So, yeah. She was I'm assuming the person you lost, was it your wife you said? She was your sole purpose? And I'm so sorry that your things were filtered. Your wife. And I'm so sorry for your loss, by the way. And you know, if you need anything, that's what we're here for. That's, you know, and my whole goal in life is, at this point, is to hopefully nobody ever has to go through the pain that I went through. That's my goal. So, and if you have lost somebody and you're not sure, if you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. But if you have lost somebody, and you know, when I first lost my husband, everybody kept saying just put one foot in front of the other, and I literally didn't know how to do that. Like I could barely breathe. Right? Painful, but my reality. I'm so sorry. Well, if you need help with that, like I said, that's what I'm here for. So, like I said, and you're welcome to message me, and we could talk further if you need to. Okay, well, looks like I'm almost pushing my hour. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add or talk about? No help needed, but thanks for being there. No problem. Like I said, I'm here if you need me. If you don't, that's fine too. So, but if there's some comments that you would like to message me that didn't come through that you want to talk about, we sure can do that. Abed, you're back. It's been a while. Welcome. Glad to see you. Okay, guys. Well, anybody else have anything else? Like I said, I'm pushing my hour here pretty close. Anybody have anything else that they want to talk about, get off their chest, vent about? That's what we're here for. Nobody? Okay, well, I'm going to throw in this last plug for what we were talking about tonight. We kind of got off topic, which is fine. I believe, like I said, the topic goes where the topic is supposed to go. If you have a mask on and you're not being your true self, my guide says, take the mask off. It's time. That's what she says. So, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like I said, I'm here Sunday through Wednesday between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time. I wasn't on last night. I took a mental break. Like I said, I work 2 jobs. With all of my social media, it's basically 3, and I sew on the side, so I almost have 4 jobs. My day starts at 4:35, and yesterday I just couldn't function. So I did miss last night. Victory, thank you, Renee. You're so very welcome. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for all the likes. If nobody else has anything else to say, I will. You will what? What did I miss? Did I miss something? Keystone Flippers, who are you? Where are you from? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that so very much. Okay, guys, well, thank you for all the love and all of the comments. Like I said, my page depends on you guys talking to me. That's just how it works here. And so I appreciate all of your comments, all of the love, all the hearts, all the badges, all the everything. I just appreciate you being here so very much. Like I said, if you're not a subscriber over on Scorpio Medium, I would love it if you subscribed. I hope you all have a great night, and remember to make tomorrow great because it's a choice. And if nobody else has anything to say, I'm going to say on that note until we meet again.